right, so now we're going to look at the hips. And I'll try to keep the legs out of it because this is just, but you know, whatever your legs are going to do, just let it happen for now. All right. So again, knuckle, wrist, elbow, shoulder. Now we got our hips. So if the shoulder moves forward and the elbows move forward, and when the elbow moves forward, the wrist moves forward, and then the hand strikes. So this is where it got to start meaning like kind of like a whip, right? You might have seen stuff. I can't remember what system it was. Sistema, I think it is. They do some weird stuff, but it's similar to that, but a little tighter. And yeah. At first it might look a little silly, but practice enough, it'll get tight and explosive power. All right. So if I'm just going to do another straight left. You just move the hip forward, hip moves forward, shoulders moving forward, shoulder moves forward. So just kind of. And you can start to see why having things up here properly aligned is going to become very important, because you're going to start putting everything you have into the strike. Right? So this is just very basic, simple, and you know, this is, as you can see, I'm not doing proper everything here right now. We're just focusing on a certain part of the body, right? And if I can deliver a great deal of power from my hands by my side, that's going to be effective in your first strike. You know, first strike usually wins the fight, right? And if that first strike is very powerful, I'd say that makes it even more effective, right? So hip forward, hip, shoulder, elbow, strike. Hip, shoulder, elbow, strike. Right? Really slow. Right. All right. And if we just speed it up and tighten a bit, just all right. Let's just do the front right jab with the hip. All right. So hip, shoulder, elbow, strike. Right. Right. And we tighten it up a bit. Okay, everything's in line. Elbow power, pulling back. So do the hip with the shoulder, with the pullback. All right, and then deliver the sword. Right. So everything's coming through. Hips carving in, which when the hips moving, your legs are naturally going to move and push through. All right. So, and then from behind. So you can switch hip, right? You go, right? Allowing every strike to be powerful. Now, I'm not saying you have to do this every single strike. Maybe you want to, sorry. So maybe you want to make it a little quicker, so you don't want to have all this happening, right? So yeah, sure, you can just go, maybe just push with your feet and just focus there. So when you get that first little shot out, and then you can put it in there, right? You don't have to do all this movement every strike, but you can. If you get that first open, boom, just really drive it, all right? Really focus on these joint points to deliver the power, all right? Just give you a little peek at this. This alignment is the same, all right? We want to keep this the same, all right? So I'm pushing that forward. If I then go to hook, it's the same alignment. This part remains the same, right? Because if I'm going to do a hook, I want the compression even more, because the hook is more powerful, all right? So I'm going to drive that hip, all right? Where the hip is going is where the power is going to go. And then that shoulder follows, and that shoulder is going to point where the power is going. And then when these are both moving, then my arm is flying through the air, all right? Okay? And if I've done here, I can then start projecting this hip this way. So that allows me to boom. All right? Now if I project the hip downwards, my strike comes downwards with that same alignment through here to make sure my blade's strong. And then I project my hip upwards for an uppercut to the body, to the, you know, the solar plexus, anything, wherever the target is, right? Coming up. But they're able to start moving around the body, right? Up, down, around. All right. So really play with this one. Go very, very slowly with it at first, please. Because again, each thing you're adding is adding more power. This one adds a great deal more power. All right. So you'll be able to, you will possibly injure yourself with this one. So make absolutely certain you got everything in place. So I think this would be a good time to explain a few safety tips. So I'll come back with that.